President Trump becomes the first sitting U.S. president to set foot in North Korea. Coming up, why experts say his surprise move might help negotiations with the North, but at a cost. Also, a California woman accused of drowning one of her children, trying to drown the other, has a crime history in Montana. That connection is also coming up. Just at 6:30 here on this Monday, Chet Lehman with you. Missy O'Malley is off today. Matt has our forecast in a moment. Our top story this half hour, President Trump wrapped up his trip to Asia with a surprise historic visit to the DMZ, where he met for about 80 minutes with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. CBS's Steve Portnoy has the latest this morning from South Korea.
The president returned to Washington at dusk Sunday, capping a dramatic weekend of talks aimed at restarting stalled negotiations. At the 38th parallel, Mr. Trump made history, becoming the first American president to set foot on North Korean soil alongside dictator Kim Jong-un.
Stepping across that line was a great honor.
The pair met at the demilitarized zone for nearly an hour and agreed to restart denuclearization talks.
What's going to happen is over the next 2 or 3 weeks, the teams are going to start working to see whether or not they can do something.
Mr. Trump insists his personal relationship with Kim has made the Korean peninsula a safer place.
After our first summit, all of the danger went away.
But talks with the North haven't budged since the failed summit in Hanoi, Vietnam in late February. The president walked away from the table when Kim demanded sanctions relief.
Getting back to talks with the North Koreans is important, and I think that's a good thing. The second perspective, though, is this comes at a very high cost.
The pictures of Kim standing side by side with the American president could boost his legitimacy on the global stage. On Saturday, as Mr. Trump met in Japan with Chinese President Xi Jinping, he agreed not to impose new tariffs on Chinese imports and to continue working toward a broader trade deal. But as in the case of North Korea's nuclear program, a final agreement with China appears far off in the distance. Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, Seoul.
Now, along with President Trump, while he spoke with Kim, the president's daughter and son-in-law, Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, both senior White House advisors. President Trump ended the visit by telling reporters he invited Kim to visit him in Washington. One note here from Gallatin County. Gallatin County Sheriff's Captain Jason Jarrett, who is search and rescue commander, tells MTN there was a rescue last night for a couple of people off Axtell-Anthony Bridge who were stranded on an island. He says the second Gallatin County search and rescue on the Gallatin River over the weekend. There are no details yet on the other rescue. We'll continue to update you as news does become available. Matt, 6:32 now on this Monday. Not a bad weekend. We're heading into the 4th of July week, and it sounds like maybe some interesting weather near the 4th.
It's kind of up and down. Our temperatures will be warming up through the rest of the week, and then trying to at least bring us a shower chance for the 4th. Here's a look at what we have right now. An isolated chance of a shower, a thunderstorm out toward Yellowstone National Park and back into Park County in those areas. Our temperatures this morning into the 40s and 50s. I do expect to see potential of showers and thunderstorms try to climb as you get into the early evening tonight, but I don't think most of the day we're going to be dealing with showers and thunderstorms. We're going to break down your complete forecast, take a look at your 4th of July forecast. That's all coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. 6:33. We start with some sad news right now. There is new information on the drowning of a 12-year-old boy near Porterville, California, Saturday. The Tulare Sheriff's Office confirmed 45-year-old Sherry Telness had allegedly tried to drown her same son in Montana more than a decade ago. Police say that boy died Saturday after being drowned by Telness in an irrigation ditch. Our Medeiros Babb has more.
Early Saturday morning, the Tulare County Sheriff's Office arrived to a horrific scene on Avenue 184. 2 boys unconscious in a canal. But we now know it wasn't the first time the mother in question tried to kill her child.
We're looking into that right now. There's a lot of social media reports that there might be some history. I can't comment on it at this time.
History revealed in public records details a crime back in 2008 when Sherry Telness tried to drown her 10-month-old baby in a river. She lived in Montana at the time and told police then, quote, bad thoughts and voices, end quote, is what urged her to try to drown her baby. In the report, she told investigators she regretted what she had done, gave him CPR, and took him to the hospital to treat water in his lungs. Back then, Telness faced attempted attempted deliberate homicide and underwent a mental evaluation. However, in the plea agreement, the psychologist and hospital gave, quote, conflicting reports, which meant Telness was only charged with 2 counts of criminal endangerment. According to Telness's offender information from Mineral County, she was placed under probation and was released in November of 2016. Now, more than a decade later, Tulare County Sheriff officials confirmed the same son died when Telness took him over to this irrigation ditch Saturday and drowned him. Police say Telness also attempted to drown her 7-year-old during the same incident. That child remains in critical condition at Valley Children's Hospital.
It's going to be a long investigation for sure.
Yeah. Telness faces 4 felonies from Saturday's drowning, including murder and attempted murder. Medeiros Bad, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
And yes, that is our former MTN reporter Medeiros Bab. She now is working for the CBS station in Fresno, California. In other headlines this morning, Billings police releasing more details about a shooting that happened in Pioneer Park early Saturday morning. Billings Police Sergeant Harley Cagle says that multiple calls came in around 3:45 claiming to hear shots fired in the Pioneer Park area. Cagle said a group of 3 boys were involved in the shooting, went to the hospital. Their ages, one was either 16 or 17, one 18 years old, and one was 14. Now, Cagle said 2 of the boys have been released from the hospital at this time. One of the boys is still in the hospital with serious injuries. It's not clear which of the boys is still in the hospital. Cagle was not able to give any details regarding the circumstances of the shooting, but he did say the 3 boys are not cooperating with law enforcement at this time. Billings police say there is no threat to the public at this time either. And the cause of a fire at the Butte Dairy Queen is under investigation. Butte firefighters responded to the restaurant just after 8 Sunday morning to find the fire in the kitchen. It took about half an hour to contain that blaze, which did heavy damage. The business on Harrison Avenue was closed at the time. No injuries were reported. The United States Naval Institute is reporting that the commander of the USS Billings has been removed from that command. Commander Michael Johnson was removed after the ship ran into another moored vessel in Montreal, Canada last Friday. Lieutenant Commander Courtney Hilson said Johnson was removed due to a loss of confidence in his ability to command. The USS Billings has minor damage above the ship's waterline and is able to still safely sail to its commissioning location in Mayport, Florida. The ship will stay in Montreal while the Navy conducts a full damage assessment. Also, the state of Montana decided in 2015 that students attending private religious schools cannot benefit from a new state tax credit. Now the state will be defending that decision before the U.S. Supreme Court. The case involves a $150 state income tax credit for donations to school scholarship organizations. 3 parents of children attending a Christian school in Kalispell challenged that rule. Also, one of the largest employers in Lincoln is transitioning to new management. MTN's Jacob Fuhrer tells us about the multi-million-dollar deal and the plan to keep jobs.
Here in Lincoln, Montana, High Country Snack Foods is one of the largest employers in the area, and I'm told the new owners want to keep it that way. For over 40 years, High Country Snack Foods has manufactured, packaged, and shipped its products, including the well-known jerky, at this site in Lincoln. The company grew from a small operation with just a couple employees to a sprawling factory with a workforce around 40, though the names have changed throughout the decades, reflecting an expanding portfolio of products. The commitment to the community hasn't. As the current owners work to hand over the reins, new management is working to keep the company local. That's done in part through the help of a $400,000 loan approved earlier this year and acquired with the help of the Montana Business Assistance Connection. The Community Development Block Grant is designed to create or